Yesterday, I went to Cornelius, which is right outside of Charlotte, and I was with some students who are friends, and they're just wonderful women. And one of the women led us into a breathworks workshop. And I didn't know what that meant, and it sounded like pranayama, yogic breath, so I said, sure, let's do that. We were doing that, and then next we were going paddleboarding on Lake Norman. So I just thought, we're gonna breathe, it's gonna be great, and then we're gonna go out on the lake. Wow. Wow. It wasn't the kind of pranayama that I was used to, for sure. If you have any trauma, which you do, everyone has trauma. If you feel like you have blockages that are keeping you from getting what you want, what you need out of life, if you are getting in your own way, so to speak, if you feel like you're doing the work and you're doing your best to be a wonderful human being in the world, but you just have this like nagging sense that you don't belong, or you're just not able to quite get where you want to be in life, whether it's financially or career-wise or in relationships or in your own identity, how you want to be in the world. If any of those things ring true for you, then I think that this breathwork experience would be beneficial and wonderful. If none of that is true for you, but you've gone through trauma, then I think this would be extremely beneficial. If you've been deployed in the military, ever. It doesn't have to be in the last few years. Trauma sticks around. So if you were deployed in the military, if you've ever been in a car accident, if you've been in an abusive relationship, if you've suffered from an eating disorder, if you've lived with anybody, if you've had a parent or a sibling who has committed suicide or had a personality disorder or was abusive, even if it wasn't to you, but you witnessed it, all of those things indicate trauma. If you're a first responder, or if you're the spouse of a first responder, trauma. So all of these things and more. And if you don't have any of those things on that checklist, and you're just a curious person, then again, I recommend it. It can't hurt, but it can help. So why not try it? So this woman that we went to see, her name is Marina, and I'm going to put her contact info in the comments below so that you'll be able to text or call her to set up an appointment. She's incredible. She is a deeply, deeply powerful woman who can hold space. For me, just being in the role of a teacher and a parent and just different leadership roles, it can feel, even when I go to therapy, especially if the therapist is younger than me, I feel like I have this, I kind of hold back because I'm like, can you handle this? Or can you handle me? Because I'm a lot. Do you think, I don't know if you can handle it. So I'm gonna hold back. I'm gonna, on the surface, do the work, and I'm gonna talk the talk, and I'm gonna heal a little bit. But I don't want to open these floodgates because I'm not sure that you can handle it. That's kind of where I am, and I don't know if that's arrogant or if, I don't know what that's about. But this woman, Marina, she's in her 30s. She is fully embodied. Her spirit is bright. She is incredibly just sparkly, and her vibe is beautiful. And she's deep and she's dark, and you can just tell that she can hold space. So that's my plug for Marina. The breath work that we did, my review of my session that I experienced, I don't know what it's like any other time. I only know what it was like for me, but the breath work that she instructed us to do solicited a response from the sympathetic nervous system, which is the fight or flight nervous system. So when I teach yoga or when I teach meditation, I'm doing the opposite. I'm doing breath work to increase the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest and digest. This is like calm down, access that inner peace. That's not what we were doing. It was without realizing cognitively that that's what you're doing, we're gonna ramp your body up into full fight mode. And when we do, there's gonna be some physiological things that happen to your body. And she let us know that like your hands might close up and your mouth might get dry. And when she said that, I was like, oh yeah, the salivary response is part of the parasympathetic nervous system. So, okay, we're gonna be breathing in a way. So I thought, oh, we might be breathing fast and then the tongue gets dry. I get that. But when she said the hands might close up, I was like, okay. And I thought, I'm probably just gonna take a nap and do this breath work. And she's got this great playlist on and I'm with these women I love. We're about to go paddleboarding. This is gonna be good. I'm enjoying this. Sure, something might happen. She told us there might be emotional releases. You might start crying, you might start laughing. And I was just like, okay, let's see. I've done stuff before. So we laid down and we began, and it probably took about 5 full minutes of the breath technique, but indeed my hands were crippled in this very strange position. I had to open my eyes and look at them, and they were just all like in this weird mudra of clenching, and at the same time I was losing feeling in my fingers. I was having prickly sensation as if all of my fingers and my hands were going to sleep. But at the same time I was experiencing these physical changes, I was in some sort of dream state. I was aware of what's happening, and I knew what was happening, and I knew that I could control my breath, and that at any time I could slow down my breathing and do the breathing that I know reverses the things that are happening, but that I was really interested to see what was going to happen, so I just kept doing it. I cried, I heaved, I sobbed, I laughed, chuckled, chortled, full on, just like laughter, uncontrollable laughter. I was shaking, and I kind of reached a point in my mind, because a lot of this experience was in the body and in the energy field, but I did go into my mind and I was like, okay, I think this is enough for me for today. And just being able to say that, I slowed down my breath, maybe before she started instructing it. Then I turned onto my left side, and my hands were still completely numb, completely like balled up. And my feet were also feeling that sensation. And I just breathed myself steady and slow, and my hands opened. And I thought it was over. I was like, okay, that was interesting. I was already like, wow, that was amazing. I can't believe that just happened. I just got rid of so much trauma. Like, I feel lighter. I feel like my emotional baggage from 40 years has gone. And I'm borrowing that quote very loosely from Jill Bolte Taylor, who speaks about her experience as a neuroanatomist who had a stroke, and she lost all of her emotional baggage overnight. So I didn't make that up. But anyway, I had this feeling that I was just lighter and cleaner, and I felt so good. And I also felt so exhausted, because that's exhausting. It was so exhausting. I fell asleep, completely asleep. And then what I call the after party started happening, where in my sleep, I was like convulsing, like I was crying, no tears, but just like convulsing. And I woke up suddenly, and you know, when you wake up and you don't know where you are, and it's kind of disorienting, you're like, what happens if you go on a trip, or when you move into a new house maybe? Well, that happened, and once I recognized where I was, I got this new message from my body that was like, no, I'm not doing this. And I wanted to get up and run out of the door. Escaping is my method of coping with hard situations. Some people drink, some people fight, some people ignore. I run. I'm out of there. I'm not sticking around for something that feels dangerous to me. So I like propped up on my arm and I saw the door. And again, like I wasn't even in the beta state, the beta wave state of consciousness, which is what our normal waking state is. I was in this state, still just kind of like in between a dream and wake. And in that state, I was still able to be in my witness body and say like, you know, you can run out the door. That is an option. Or you can stay and just see what happens. You're safe. This is fine. And I saw my two friends, my students, and I saw this gorgeous woman just holding space. And I laid back down and my hands were still numb. And I just breathed really deeply and slowly. And by that point, her playlist had become really calming. And she was instructing us to do the long exhalations and to slowly in time when we were ready set up, and I did. And then I started crying in a very different way. I started crying happy tears. I'm moved to tears every day, so I'm not sure if that's part of everybody's experience, but you know, I'll see a bird and just start crying because it's so beautiful, because I'm like that. I just cried because my life is so wonderful. Like, how crazy lucky am I that I get to go and have an experience like that, especially in the midst of a pandemic where every day is like, what? What? Now what? So I cried happy tears and it felt good, and I was just washed in gratitude. The people that I was with were also had experiences, and just the bonding of being able to be in the same space and have very different, unique experiences, but stemming from the same, practice. That is also extremely powerful, just having that bond with these two women. And in honoring complete anonymity, I won't say a word about either of the experiences that my friends had, but it was powerful. It's really powerful. I will do it again. I know that there's more. I probably won't be ready to do that again for quite some time. So today, I've just been staying with what is, staying here in my body has been really easy. I felt really calm. It's been easier to breathe. I feel reset. I feel new. I feel like a different human. I feel like I've taken off a backpack full of shit that I just don't need anymore. I feel open to the possibilities of what may be, and I feel like I'm getting out of my own way in ways that I've been like blocking myself from progressing and growing in the past. So if any of that sounds inviting to you, then please go check it out. And if not with Marina, then with someone else who does this work. I was able to be outside for 4 hours afterwards, in the sun with plenty of sunscreen, in the sun, in the water. And that's another thing. It's really important to clear yourself. Drink tons of water the day of and the day after, the day before if you can. And just kind of notice what you notice. And I think that's all I have to say about that. But I hope that was helpful, and I hope that you're able to receive the healing work that you may need. And if you have any questions, you know how to reach me. You can comment here, you can email me, you can text me. I'm happy to talk about the experience. The words don't do it justice. Like all the words that I've just said, I can't even. And I don't remember if I already said this at the beginning of the video, but aside from natural childbirth twice, this was the most incredible thing I've ever experienced. So there it is. Happy receiving, happy being gentle to yourself, and I hope that you find your way home. I hope that you find your way back to you, back to the source, back to God, in total surrender and acceptance of what is, so that you may live your life in pure love, pure light. Namaste.